Shalom, 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 Israel. First off, giving all honor and praises to Yahweh and to his son Yahweh Shah. We're the Battle Axes of the Most High. I'm Captain Benaniyah. We're coming to you with another first day of the week breakdown, brothers and sisters. I know brother was saying, hey, come get these verses, get up out of those churches, man. Because we know a lot of our people are in there today. So we constantly want to bring these scriptures out, bring these classes out to start brothers and sisters out in a good spirit, to kind of get them built up. Today's class is we're going to touch on idols and idolatry. Idols and idolatry. Because we see a lot of that going on in the nation of Israel, amongst our nation, brothers that's in the truth, brothers and sisters that's not in the truth. You know, these are some of the strongholds we have to learn to break down once we come into this truth, man, because guess what? These are some of the devices of the devil. A lot of times our people get taken and snared in these things as well, man. So we want to make sure we go through the proper precepts to get an edification for brothers and sisters. First precept we're going to start off with is Romans chapter 15, verse 4. Because we got to remember these things too. These things are written for our learning, because this is one of the main sins that our nation dealt in, especially of the northern tribe, with the so-called Native Americans and Mexican Americans today. They dealt in this heavily. Read that out.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
So the things that were written aforetime, meaning the scriptures, meaning the Old Testament, read on,
were written for our learning.
These things were written for us to get edification on, for us to learn what to do and what not to do, to learn the mistakes that our forefathers dealt in, and to learn what we're not supposed to make a mistake on. Read on.
That we,
meaning the Israelites, because even when you read Romans chapter 1, verse 7, it's telling you who that epistle was written to. It is written to the saints that were in Rome. The saints, according to Psalms chapter 148, verse 14, is the Israelites. So the we that is talking about in this particular verse is talking about the Israelites. That we, read on.
Through patience.
Through what?
Through patience.
So we got to have patience with our brothers and sisters, because guess what? These sins have left a 400 to 600 degree stronghold seared in our mind for a long period of time on our people's spirits and on their minds and so forth. So we got to have patience when we're dealing with our people. Now, we ain't going to play the games with them. We're going to give them what the scriptures say, that they got to make haste to come up out of those wicked devices and so forth, out of those sins. Read on.
And comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
This is the only comfort that we have in this captivity. You know, a lot of times people lean on their money, lean on their jobs, lean on wives, family. They try to go to those things to give them comfort and hope. But the Bible just said, through the scriptures, that's where we find comfort and hope. Only through Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, man. Give me Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
Give me that again.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I would say people love to say that, even going here talking about the Big 10. Well, guess what? We got a big 613 commandments that we got to be keeping. But this is going into the Big 10. I would say the Big 10 is just the titles. Within those titles of the Big 10, you got sub-laws and categories which each law falls into. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
So this is one of the commandments. The first commandments. We should not have no other gods before the Most High God. Now, you know, we see how people filled up the churches on Sunday worship and so forth. Those people that's in there, guess what? They are worshiping another God. That's idolatry, because they're not worshiping the one true God that's defined and that's described in the Bible. Read on.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
And the Most High God is telling us, don't make any graven images. Stones. What are our people up in there worshiping, bowing down to that damn cross that's up in there plaguing our people? Our people that's in Islam, what are they worshiping? The Kaaba stone. These things are idols. That goes into idolatry, because our people praising something that have no breath in it, that have no life in it. It can neither bless you nor curse you. Read on.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth.
So the Most High God is telling us, guess what? We shouldn't make any images to stir up in heaven or above. But this is the point, because brothers and sisters will take this and say, y'all shouldn't have that image of Christ. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
Read that part again.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
So we shouldn't make these images and so forth to bow down unto them. Now, it's two understandings about graven images and so forth. Because guess what? You got idolatry with brothers and sisters constantly texting and posting themselves on Facebook, wanting to be seen of men, all in Facebook, trying to get as many likes as they can. That is a form of idolatry. We're not using that image that the Bible describes how Christ looked like and bowing down unto that thing. We're showing that as a visual to our people to compare and contrast the difference between the Christ of the Bible and that whitewashed image of Caesar Borgia. So it says not to bow down unto them. Read verse 5 again.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God.
Because our people are serving those things. Up in Christianity, they serving that cross. Our brothers and sisters that's up in Catholicism with the Virgin Mary, they're bowing down, kissing up to it, doing all types of crosses, signets to it. That's going off according to the Bible. That's straight up wicked, especially with the northern tribe, because we know our brothers and sisters, they constantly deals in those type of wickedness. Read on up.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
So the Most High God is telling us, for breaking these commandments, for breaking this law, guess what? He's visiting them unto the third and to the fourth generation. Going into, guess what? Regeneration. Brothers and sisters that's dealing in that, guess what? When you come back in the regeneration, the Most High God could jack you up, man. He can make you physically disabled. He can make you, guess what? Mentally disabled, man. This is what this means about visiting our people unto the third and to the fourth generation, man. Because our people constantly break these laws, man. Constantly. We're going to get another precept for that. Give me Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 1. Because this is how time our people come awake from out of this deep sleep that America put us in and understand that we shouldn't be worshiping these things. These things cause our people to go off.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 1. Ye shall make you no idols nor graven image.
So we shouldn't make no idols or graven images. This is the second witness. Read on.
Neither rear you up a standing image. Neither shall ye set upon any image of stone in your land.
To do what?
To bow down unto it.
To bow down unto these things. A lot of times, I guess what our people stay bowed down to these things. That's why religion has our people going out, because religion is nothing but idolatry. Religion is founded principally on idols. Read on.
From the top.
Yeah, from the top.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 1. Ye shall make ye no idols nor graven image. Neither rear you up a standing image. Neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land.
To do what?
To bow down unto it.
Read on.
For I am the Lord your God.
For he is the Lord our God. Because like we say, the point, brothers and sisters, certain brothers and camps teach these things too. But with all I get in, you got to get a good understanding, brothers and sisters. Matter of fact, let's get there. Give me Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. That's one of the main things, is we dealing with a brother out there yesterday out there on the street saying that he only read the book of Genesis. I ain't never heard that damn doctrine. I'm talking about that brother is bugged the hell out, brother. Like even like Captain Yara said, that's why he only got 1% of the understanding. Then he ain't taking that understanding and applying it to his everyday life. Our people are wicked as hell out here. Shalom, huh?
4 and 7.
Yeah, 4 and 7. When you get there, read that out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing.
So wisdom is the principal thing, according to Deuteronomy 4 verse 5. Guess what? It's our job to, guess what, constantly try to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Read that again from the top up.
Wisdom is the principal thing.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, get wisdom.
Therefore, get wisdom, brothers and sisters. A lot of times our brothers and sisters want to be out here, want to be deep, man. They want to be so deep, want to profess that they got the knowledge of God, but in their actions, they deny him because they're not doing nothing that he's telling them. So guess what? The Most High God is not going to profit you in knowledge. Read on.
And with all thy getting, get understanding.
And with all your knowledge and with all your getting of wisdom, you want to make sure that you got a good understanding, because a lot of brothers and sisters don't have a good understanding of images and so forth when it talks about graven images. And we're going to prove that thing too. So you want to make sure you constantly getting a good understanding of the scriptures, brothers and sisters, because brothers and sisters sometimes worship the leader that the Most High God has set up in churches. You got men pleasers in there. You got brothers that's not telling brothers when they're going off. Secretly, you hate that brother when you're not correcting brothers or sisters in the congregation, man. They're afraid to correct them, thinking that they're gonna hate their feelings. Man, we don't give a damn about hurting your feelings because we're trying to save your soul, man. You got something up?
No, go ahead.
We're trying to save brothers and sisters' souls out here, man. That is the main purpose. So guess what? We got to tell you, thus saith the Lord. And any brother that's coming to a leader of a congregation and have a question and the leader turns them down, brother, that is out of order. Because it's our job as leaders to, guess what? Edify our people with the word. Give me that in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. Now we're going to touch here, we're going to touch a little there, because we see these things, doctrines and so forth, steady coming up in Israel, man. And we know brothers and sisters are being men pleasers. Brothers not bringing down righteous judgments in the congregation. Brothers gathering to brothers because they know brothers gonna let them do whatever the hell they want to do, man. But we got to come up out of that spirit. That's why we went into captivity in the first place. Read this out 3 and 17. 3 and 15.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 15. For so is the will of God, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men.
Read that again. That ain't what I want, but that's a good damn precept. Read that again.
For so is the will of God.
You got it. 1 Peter 3 and 15.
3 and 15. No, that's too big.
Read that one again, though. That was a good precept.
My bad. The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 15. For so is the will of God.
The will of God is keeping his commandments, according to Psalms 40 and 8. Read on.
That with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men.
That through well-doing we may put to silence the ignorance of men. Well-doing is, guess what? Keeping the commandments. This is the only way you're going to put to silence the ignorance of men. Because guess what? There's some brothers that's ignorant in this truth, man. Guess what? They need to constantly be built up. Some brothers out there thinking they're seasoned, they're not as seasoned as they claim to be. Because guess what? Their fruits bear that out. Read that again from the top.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 15. For so is the will of God, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men.
And that's what we are here to do. That's what the Most High God has his people out here on the streets to do. To put to silence the ignorance of men. Saying that, guess what? Negro only doctrines, that Hispanics and Native Americans are not our people. That you can eat pork. That you don't have to wear your fringes. These are ignorant doctrines that, guess what, must be put to silence. Now give me 1 Peter 3 and 15.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 15. But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear.
So the Most High God told the brothers, that's why we be all brothers making sure that they're studying, reading their Bible, because guess what? You never know when brothers and sisters may come and ask you a question. You have to be, guess what, ready to answer that thing, man. Give brothers and sisters the edification. Now, if you don't have the answer, guess what? Go up to the hierarchy, go up to the leaders and so forth, because that's our job. A lot of times when we answering these questions and breaking it down and making it plain upon tables, guess what? That edifies brothers and sisters. It might get them to come into this truth, man. That's what these things are all about, man. But even touching back on it, let's give an example of that, because a lot of times they say that we can't have images. Give me 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 23. Because we got to understand that the Most High God commanded Moses and even Solomon the specifications of the house of his temple. 1 Samuel chapter 6
First Kings.
Salaki, First Kings. Thanks, God. First Kings. Even when you're reading the book of First Kings, brothers and sisters, this is a good read. You want to make sure that you read First and Second Kings and First and Second Chronicles. This is going through the lineages of our forefathers that were kings. You need to go and see the things, the acts that they did in their time, whether kings were doing righteous by God or doing wicked by God, and learn not to deal in those types of mistakes. Even when you read First Kings, it's going into how Solomon was commissioned to build the house of God. So if we can't have images, read First Kings chapter 6, verse 23.
The book of First Kings, chapter 6 and verse 23. And within the oracle, he made 2 cherubims of olive tree.
Of who?
Of olive tree.
Uh-huh.
Each 10 cubits high.
So in the oracle, meaning in the sanctuary, in the temple of the Most High God, he made 2 cherubims. Cherubims is going into what? Angels. King Solomon had 2 big statues of angels in the house of the Most High God. But were they bowing down unto those angels or worshiping the Most High God? No, they was worshiping the Most High God. So these are images clearly showing you that we had those things. But it's not our job to bow down unto it. It's our job to give brothers and sisters visuals. Because a lot of times our people need visuals to actually see it. You teach people 2 ways, by word of mouth or by your actions and things that they see. People learn in different ways. Read that again from the top.
The book of First Kings, chapter 6 and verse 23. And within the oracle, he made 2 cherubims,
2 angels
of olive tree, each 10 cubits high.
Each 10 cubits high, meaning these things were about 15 feet high. A cubit equals to 1.5 feet. Even in the olden times, it's basically your middle finger to your elbow. That's how they measured these things. Read on up.
And 5 cubits was the one wing of the cherub.
And 5 cubits was just one wing of the cherub. This is an image that they had up in the congregation, in the sanctuary of the Most High God. Why would the Most High God tell our people and instruct them to do that if we ain't supposed to have it? But you have to get the full understanding of it. They're not bowing down to it, brothers and sisters. Read on.
And 5 cubits, the other wing of the cherub. From the uttermost part of the one wing unto the uttermost part of the other were 10 cubits.
Were what?
Were 10 cubits.
Because these were big, gigantic statues. Because guess what? We had the Most High God's sanctuary very beautified, brothers and sisters, man. Like we said, brothers and sisters are bowing down and worshiping these things. Guess what? Brothers is going out. Sisters are going out. Because we have to show our people what our forefathers look like. There's nothing wrong with you giving visuals of that. Showing them that, guess what? The angels are black according to this description. That helps build up our brothers and sisters, the younger generation, self-esteem. Seeing that the angel's hair is black and woolly. Seeing that the Most High gods are reading about God's hair being woolly. Seeing the description of Christ's hair as being woolly, man. These things are very, very important to helping building our people up. Give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 27.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 27. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
Read that again.
For the worshiping of the idols.
For the worshiping of idols, read on.
Not to be named.
Not to be named, brothers and sisters, read on.
Is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
It's the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil, brothers and sisters. This is the first sin that, guess what? Eve tipped it in. Because guess what? She went to the other nations to, guess what? Concede to their doctrine. When the Most High God told them not to eat of that fruit of the doctrines of the other nations. The Most High God gave us straight commandments that we need to, guess what? Follow in order to succeed. But a lot of times our people love to do their own thing. They love to be deep, man. Our people love to be so damn deep, man. It don't make no damn sense. I got to get that precept real quick. Give me Sirach chapter 3 and verse 22. Because the Most High God warned us about that, man. verse 21. Sirach chapter 3 and verse 21.
The book of Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 21. Seek not after things that are too hard for thee.
It says, seek not after things that are too hard for thee. It's some hard things that's in the scriptures that can be hard for brothers and sisters that, guess what, just coming into the truth. They're still getting the meat. That's why the Most High God sets up in hierarchy. Go to the elders of the congregation. Go to the leaders of the congregation, and guess what? Get these things edified. Because if you don't, you leaning on your own accord and going by your own counsel, that can have brothers and sisters going off, and then that can go and have you going into idolatry. Read on.
Neither search the things that are above thy strength.
So we cannot search out the things that are above our strength. Read on out.
But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence.
But what is commanded of us, knowing the law, statutes, and commandments, getting a good understanding of the law, that's what's commanded of us. Read on.
For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret.
Because the Most High God has things that, guess what, he can't reveal to us yet. It might have brothers going to hell off. Could be so deep it'll take you in another damn direction. Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 27. Yeah, again from the top.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 27. For the worshiping of idols not to be named in the beginning, the cause and the end of all evil.
Of what?
Of all evil.
That is the beginning of all evil. Because guess what? Idolatry can go into you worshiping yourself, seeing yourself as a God. We get that all the time when we out there in the street. Brother, I'm a God, brother. Brother, if you're a God, brother, get us up out of this damn captivity. Like the brother was saying yesterday, he run America. Brother, stop it, man. You out here riding a train. Talking about you run America. Brother, you ain't got a pot to piss in. You see the condition of our people. And guess what? If you're a God, get us up out of these conditions. Come on, man. Our people got to stop being bugged out. Jump over to verse 8. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 8.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 8. But that which is made with hands is cursed.
Is what?
Is cursed.
Read on out.
As well as he that made it.
It says, but that which is made with hands is cursed. This is going into what? Into idols. Idolatry. Read on out.
He, because he made it.
He, because that orator or that sculptor made it. Because guess what? All nations are in cahoots with each other to, guess what? Keep us in idolatry. Keep us worshiping idols. That's why you see when you go into those big T bazaars, to those jewelers, the main nation that you see is Elam, and you see Ishmael up in there. See Moab trying to get our people to buy these damn crosses. Jacob the jeweler. Here, get you a cross. Get you a nice big cross with diamonds and jewels all over. Get you a Caesar Borgia piece. Boosie be saying some truth out there, but guess what? He better take off that damn Caesar Borgia piece. Brother may hate, guess what? White supremacy, but nigga, you got white supremacy dangling from your damn chain, man. Come on, man. Our people got to wake up and read the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 14. It's giving you the description of Christ. Read on up.
He, because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, it was called God.
Those things are corruptible, and guess what? Those things, people call them gods, man. Worshiping those things, man. Read on up.
For the ungodly and the ungodliness of both alike hateful unto God.
Because we always get that God knows my heart. He knows. It says that, guess what? For the ungodly and his ungodliness, the sin and the sinner are both hateful unto God. The Most High God hates the sin and the sinner. Because we get that a lot of times, thinking that the Most High God don't hate sinners either. Give me that precept in Psalms chapter 5, verse 5. All right. We're going to hold our precept. We're coming right back to it. Because the Most High God hates us when we're dealing in these types of sins. He hates that thing, man.
The book of Psalms, chapter 5 and verse 5. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight.
The foolish. Foolish is also going into brothers and sisters not keeping the commandments. Read on.
Thou hatest all workers of iniquity.
He hateth all workers of iniquity. Iniquity is another word for sin. The Most High God hates sinners, and he hates the sin too, man.
That's right.
Let's go back. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 9 again.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 9. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto God.
Read on.
For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it.
Because guess what? The ones that are made it and the brothers and sisters that's wearing those things, guess what? If they don't come up out of those sins, guess what? The Most High God is going to put them to death, man. They will be punished. You can't just think that you can just go about not keeping God's commandments, being wicked as hell, and thinking you're just going to skip in the gates of the Most High God's heaven.
That's right.
Come on, man. He's not doing that. We didn't even get away with stuff among our parents, man. You couldn't even be disobedient amongst your parents. Now, you think you're going to be disobedient to the Most High God? Come on, man. Read on up.
Verse 10. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation.
It says, therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation. This Gentiles is going into what? The literal Gentiles. Because you see, for instance, the East Indian people, which we call, the Bible calls them Elam, they got many idols. They got the idol of Krishna, that woman with, guess what, 8 arms and so forth. They worship the elephant over there. They worship the cow over there. You got even people in China, which are the Moabites. They worship what? That Buddha statue, bowing down, putting their hands to it. These are just some of the nations that have many, many idols out there, man. Read on up.
Because in the creature of God, they are become an abomination.
In the creature of God, meaning the Israelites, they have become a stumbling block and an abomination to our people. These idols have our people going off just like they cross in Christianity. Got our people going off. All praise to the Most High, the brother through his cross, through his chain, man. All praise for that thing. Saying that, guess what? His mama and his dad is a pastor. Well, brother, why they ain't read you these scriptures? All praise the Most High God had the true prophets of the Most High God after to get him to, guess what, come up out of that particular sin. These things are not hard to do, brothers and sisters, man. Just take it off your neck and get rid of that thing. Read on.
Because in the creature of God, they are become an abomination and a stumbling block to the souls of men.
And what are?
To the souls of men.
And stumbling blocks to the souls of men. Just think about that white image of Jerubbaal, how it has become a stumbling block to our people, man. We seen it. We put it up a few weeks ago with Esther on Good Times and so forth. That's all she said she knew. She don't know who she saw first, her mama or that red image of Jesus. Now that's just straight up idolatry, because guess what? That gets our people to idolize the so-called white man, to see him as God and not see the one true God in the Bible. That's a stumbling block to our people, man. Read on up.
And stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise.
And it's a snare, meaning it's a trap to the feet of the unwise. Because even when you passing by, I know brother done seen many camps where you seeing children. You ask children, who is this on this picture? What did the little child say? The little boy say, oh, it's Jesus. Then you looking at his mama like, hey, because she had been accepting that. Big mama had been accepting that. And that thing had been passed down for generations upon generations. These things become a snare and a trap to our people. Just like with idolizing yourself on Facebook. Want to be seen of men, want vainglory. Like you said, want to preeminence, want to be the head Israelite in charge. Want to run some stuff, then you're not even bringing down righteous judgment or bringing righteous correction. But you got the crowd before you walk, and it takes a nation to do these things, man. Read on.
For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
So the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. This is what had our people going off from the beginning, during the time of Genesis. Read on.
And the inventions of them the corruption of life.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life. Like you got that big damn Edomite statue in Brazil. I'm talking about, man, that statue got to be about 50 feet tall, man. And you know that's where one of the worst places our people are at, the northern tribe, Zebulun, Naphtali. They looking at that, they thinking the so-called white man is God, man. Most High God is going to bring these things down when he brings destruction upon this earth, man. Read on up.
For neither were they from the beginning.
Neither were they from the beginning. Read on.
Neither shall they be forever.
Neither shall they be forever. Read on.
For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world.
For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world. Because even when we read, let's get that real quick. Daniel. Show you. First of Most High just came to my Daniel chapter 2 and verse. We'll start at verse 30. We'll start at verse 31.
Daniel.
The book of Daniel chapter 2 verse 31. Because it's going into what? Nebuchadnezzar's statue. Guess what? He made our people, guess what? And all other nations go off. Because not only are they seeing, like, dang, that's what being in power do. What do men in power always do? They always want a statue built in their name to, guess what, leave behind. So people could constantly do what? Remember them, idolize them, and worship them. Read this.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2 and verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee. The form thereof was terrible.
Meaning, this is going into the description of this statue that he made, an idol. Read on.
This image's head was fine gold.
So the image head was fine gold, signifying the Babylonian captivity, signifying his rule. Read on.
His breast and arms of silver.
His breast and arms of silver. Read on. Symbolizing what? The Persian and Mede captivity. Because after the Babylonians, the Persian and Medes took over. Read on.
His belly and his thighs of brass.
His belly and his, right, because symbolizing the next captivity going into the Greeks. Read on.
His legs of iron.
Going into what? Going into the Romans. Read on.
His feet, part of iron and part of clay.
That feet is going into what? The 10 common markers. Out of the 10 common markers is going into what? America. Read on.
Verse 34. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands.
It says, thou sawest till a stone was cut out without hands. This stone is going into Christ. Read on up.
Which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces.
It says, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. So when Christ come back on the planet Earth, he's breaking all these images into pieces. Let's prove that that image. Give me Acts chapter 4 and verse 10. Let's prove that stone real quick.
The book of Acts, chapter 4 and verse 10. Be it known unto you all, and to all the people of Israel.
Of everybody.
Of Israel.
Even during the book of Acts, this is only written to the Israelites. Read on.
That by the name of Yahushua of Nazareth, whom ye crucified.
Whom our people crucified. Read on.
Whom Yahweh raised from the dead.
And the Most High God raised them from the dead. Read on up.
Even by him doeth this man stand here before you whole.
Read on. This is the point. Read on.
This is the stone.
Read that again up.
This is the stone.
This is the stone, meaning what? The same stone that's going to smoke all these images. This is that same stone that's going to smoke the image of Babylon. That's going to smoke America. Read on.
This is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, which is become the head of the corner.
This is the stone which is set at naught of you builders, because the builders was going into the what? The scribes and the Pharisees. It says, which is become the head of the corner. Because Christ is our head, man. The scribes and the Pharisees, they had our people, yes, they were supposed to be the head, but guess what? They had our people going off. They weren't teaching our people to come up out of idolatry. They wanted people to worship them. That's why they hated Christ when they came on the scene, because guess what? He was cutting up all their doctrine. So guess what? It's our job to come up out of these idols and this idolatry. Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, and get in verse 15.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning.
Now, brothers and sisters, understand history. This is going into Pope Alexander VI of Rome. When he was set up, it says a father afflicted with untimely mourning, because guess what? His son Jerubbaal, guess what? Died, dealing in all different type of lewd acts and fornication. Went to sleep with his sister Lucretia. Probably had all different type of syphilis and STDs and so forth. He died at a young age. Read on.
For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he had made an image of his child, soon taken away.
He is the one that commissioned Leonardo da Vinci to, guess what? Paint an image of a new Christ in the earth. Because this is when they came back into power. This is the rebirth of the white man back in power. 1453. This is the Renaissance era. So guess what? When you're back in power, guess what you do? You change all the images. You make the images look like you. So guess what? People can worship you as God. No longer worship that Bible image. Worship me, because guess what? I got power on the earth now. Read on.
Now honored him as a God.
They honored him as a God. Read on up.
Which was then a dead man.
Which was then just a regular dead man. Our people are gone off with that image of that fake image of Jesus Christ, man. Gone totally off. Read on up.
And delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Because when they came over here to destroy the Native Americans, the northern tribe, they held up that image and said, guess what? If you don't worship this image, you're going to get put to death. A lot of our brothers, they wasn't worshiping those things, man. They got put to death. But some of our people did, man. A lot of our people ended up worshiping that thing, because Esau made examples of out of our people. So guess what? This is the beginning of that image of idols. Jerubbaal. Our people got to come up out of these things, man. Give me 1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Read that again from the top out.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48. And laid open the book of the law.
And laid open the book of the law. Read on out.
Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So they laid open our Bible, and guess what? Whitewashed all the Bible. That's what you call iconoclasm or image breaker. That's what they did to, guess what? Have everybody on the planet Earth worshiping them, thinking, oh man, God must be with him. He must be God. God gave him rulership over the planet Earth. Jesus is God. That's why our people, when we kill one another, we see a nigga. We don't see Christ in us. That's why it's so very important to constantly read the description of Christ, to change the minds of our people, to break down those strongholds, man. You got something out?
No, I'm good.
Read on.
Verse 49.
Oh, no, that's all we want on that. Okay. Let's go to wisdom. Give me Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 32. Because these things teaches our people wickedness.
Ezekiel 30.
Ezekiel 20 and verse 32.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 32.
Jump up to verse 31.
Verse 31.
For
when ye offer your gifts, when ye make your sons to pass through the fire.
Because during this time and earlier, guess what? Our people will have their sons and their daughters pass through the fire. We were actually sacrificing our own children, man, to these other false gods, these deities that can't do nothing. Read on.
Ye pollute yourselves with all your idols.
We polluted ourselves with all these idols. Read on up.
Even until this day.
Read that again up.
Even until this day.
I love how the Bible is written. Even until this day, meaning right now in this present time, we still laden with idolatry. This is why the northern tribe got cast off, because of idolatry. Read on.
And shall I be inquired of you, Salakia? And shall I be inquired of by you?
It says, and shall I be inquired of by you? Are you going to try to come ask me when you're doing all these wicked things? Read on up.
O house of Israel.
O house of everybody.
O house of Israel.
Read on up.
As I live, said the Lord God, I will not be inquired of by you.
Most High God is not going to be inquired of by us, man, when we going all off into wickedness, trying to use the Bible to justify their wickedness, doing wickedness but still want to have the Bible in their hand. That's straight up wicked as hell. Read on up.
And that which cometh into your minds shall not be it at all.
It says, and that which come into your mind shall not be at all. Read on.
That ye say, we will be as the heathen.
We will be as the what?
We will be as the heathen.
We want to be like the white man. Read on up.
As the families of the countries to serve wood and stone.
We want to be like the white man to, guess what, have a cross set up in our congregation. We want to be like them to have a Virgin Mary set up in our congregation. This is our people wanting to be like the heathen instead of being what the Most High God designed us for. Give me that in Psalm chapter 96 and verse 5. Start at verse 4.
The book of Psalm, chapter 96 and verse 4. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised.
And our God is greatly to be praised. Man, we got to give all praises to the Most High God. Every day he wake you up to take another breath. Going into that, because guess what? Our people wake up and the first thing that they grab is their phone. You grab your phone before you grab the Most High. That's idolatry, man. You worshiping that phone. Anything can go into idolatry. Worshiping on your phone, being on Facebook, want to be seen, your car, your job, money, yourself, other men. All these things go into idolatry, brothers and sisters. Man, we got to come up out of there. Read on.
He is to be feared above all gods.
Read on.
For all the gods of the nations are idols.
Read that again.
For all the gods of the nations are idols.
All the gods of the nations are idols, brothers and sisters. No other nation of people have the one true God, have a God, man. Those gods that they have, they're nothing but statues, brothers and sisters. That's it, man. Read on.
But the Lord made the heaven.
Because show me where Krishna made the heavens. Show me where Buddha made the earth. Show me what any of those guys, guess what, made us. Show us these things, man. Bring forth your strong reason. This is why, guess what, the northern tribe went off as a nation of people. Because they actually worship these things, man. Give me the book of Hosea. Hosea chapter 4 and verse 17. Hosea chapter 4 verse 17. Hosea 4 and 17.
The book of Hosea chapter 4 and verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
Read that again.
Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
The Bible, the Most High God was saying, guess what? Edom was joined to idols. Leave him alone. I'm not dealing with him at this time. Guess what? Y'all not to be dealing with them either, man. This is going into what? The split of the kingdom. It's going into why they were cast off as being a nation, because guess what? They were idolizing the other nations. They wanted to be like the other nations. They wanted to mingle amongst them. They wanted to worship the gods that they served. So the Most High God cast them off from being his chosen people. guess what? If our brothers and sisters don't come up out of these sins, He gonna cast us off the same way, man. He ain't gonna play no games. For a period of time, that's why He had them, guess what? Leave the known world to come over here. But once they got over here, they started to go to hell off again. Most High God gave them an opportunity, they went off again. Give me Wisdom of Solomon. We're going to read about that. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13 and verse 1. I would say, brothers and sisters, make sure y'all write these precepts down. Go back over these things, man. Like I say, that's why the Most High God, we're not celebrating birthdays. That's a form of idolatry. That's my day. Captain Yard just did a class on that, man. You know, you got brothers and sisters being slick too. You know, I don't give a damn about Facebook. So I had to make a new account. And you know, they tell you to put your birthday on there. So my wife let me know that if you don't put your birthday on there, they'll put one on there for you. So supposedly mine was the other day. And I'm wondering why I keep getting all these damn texts like, what the hell is it? Yeah, you'll be surprised people in the truth. Shalom, Captain Benaniyah. I'm like, what the hell? Well, I started just going on a rebuking session. I was just like, just turn off the notifications. I ain't got time. The brothers and sisters just called. No, happy born day, happy Earth Day. Get the hell out of here with that stuff, man.
Yeah, they'll try to get slick with that stuff.
They will, man.
That happy born day.
Because I didn't even know. I'm like, happy Earth Day. Damn, is that a new doctrine they out here worshiping the earth now? What? Baby, that's talking about birthday. I was like, oh, hell, man. Read this out.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13 and verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature.
Surely vain are all men by nature. Because guess what? If we didn't have the scriptures, ain't no telling where our minds would be, man.
God.
All type of wickedness. Read on up.
Who are ignorant of God.
And we are very, very ignorant of God, man. Read on.
And could not, out of the good things that are seen, know Him that is.
And you can't even see the good things to know Him that is. How the hell you think we have a sun, a moon, air? You can't see air, but you believe we breathe in that thing, like Captain Jerubbaal say. Read on up.
Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster.
Neither by considering the things that you see around you, the earth, the people in it. Do you consider the workmaster? Somebody had to create these things. But Esau make it evolution. The Big Bang Theory. Come on, man. Things that just sprout out of no damn where. Esau is saying that because guess what? He's trying to get our people to idolize him and worship him more and more every day. Read on up.
But deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars.
Because this is what happened to the northern tribe once they got onto this side of the earth. They started to worship fire, the wind, the swift air, and the stars. Read on up.
Or the violent water, or the lights of heaven, to be the gods which govern the world.
They took these things to be the gods that govern the world. That's why, guess what? They had the peace pipe. You have the things, the graven images set on totem poles to where they go around marching and so forth, worshiping these things, man. That's why the Most High God sent the Edomites over here to destroy them, man. He got tired of them doing those and worshiping idols and so forth, going into sacrificing their own children and so forth. Read on.
Verse 3. With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods.
Took them to be what?
Took them to be gods.
They took those things and made idolatry out of it. Read on up.
Let them know how much better the Lord of them is.
Read that part again.
Let them know how much better the Lord of them is.
You worshiping those things, but you're not worshiping the one true creator that created those things. That makes makes no sense. Read on up.
For the first author of beauty had created them.
Had did what?
Had created them.
Read on up.
But if they were astonished at their power and virtue.
If you astonish at the power and the virtue of the sun, or of the stars, and of the moon, and of water, read on up.
Let them understand by them how much mightier He is that made them.
Think about the power that created those things, man. You worshiping those, no. You getting secondhand worship. You need to get firsthand worship, man. Go to the one true power that created those things, man. Just think about all His power that did those things, man. Our people have to wake up and come up out of this idolatry, man. in camps and out of camps. Brothers and sisters in camps, y'all damn sure should know better, man. We damn sure should know better, because guess what? You should be constantly going over the law, correcting yourself, going through the scriptures, reading. A lot of times the Most High God make these things plain to our people. Let's get Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 8. A known precept we always use. You lost your Habakkuk, is that?
Next, name
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse
18.
18.
Verse 18. What profited the graven image?
Even Habakkuk asks, what profit is that graven image? What is it going to benefit you by wearing a cross? Like the brothers was bringing out, if our people was murdered, shot by an AK-47, would you wear that around your neck dangling? No, you wouldn't. That's what our Lord and Savior was crucified, hung from a cross, hung from a tree. Guess what? That's the same equivalence, man. We don't even want to see that. That was the capital punishment for our people during that time. So why in the hell would we wear those things when our Lord and Savior was put to death by that? We wear it because guess what? That's the images that Esau gave us. Read on.
What profited the graven image that the maker thereof had graven it? The molten image.
The molten image is going into these Jesus pieces, these cross pieces. It's a molten image. Read on.
And a teacher of lies.
And it's a teacher of lies. That thing teaches our people that guess what? It's okay to basically mock Christ while he was on the death penalty. It's okay. And it's also teaching our people that guess what? White supremacy. Because guess what? You ain't got no black looking image of Christ on your Jesus piece. These things teach our people idolatry and teach our people to worship idols. Read on.
That the maker of his work trusted therein to make dumb idols.
What is those things up?
To make dumb idols.
These things are dumb idols. That's all that they are. Read on out.
Woe to him, woe unto him that said to the wood, awake.
Read that again.
Verse 19. Woe unto him that said to the wood, awake. To the dumb stone, arise.
It says, woe unto him that said to the wood, awake. What do you think our people that's in Islam do? Knowing damn well they're not true Muslims. No, they're not true Ishmaelites. They ain't strapping C4 to their body yelling Allah Akbar. They ain't went over there to Saudi Arabia to take the Hajj where they march around that damn stone for a long period of time. Read on up.
It shall teach them.
It shall what?
It shall teach them.
It teaches our people to do what? Worship that instead of worshiping the one true God. Read on.
Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver.
To entice people, to get people to guess what? Wear these things. Worship me. Look, it's beautified. Read on.
And there is no breath at all in the midst of it.
It says, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it. These things cannot see. These things cannot guide you. These things cannot teach you. It's just a statue. It's just an idol, man. These things are profiting our people nothing. Read on up.
But the Lord is in his holy temple.
But the Lord is in his holy temple in the third heaven. Read on.
Let all the earth keep silence before him.
Let all the earth keep silence before the Most High God. Don't be going into worshiping these things, man. Our people got to come up out of these things. It's a judgment for that too. Go ahead.
I just wanted to touch that right quick about even in the churches today, these mega churches and stuff that are set up, they're set up the same way. You walk on the inside of them, you view them on TV. They're plushed out. You know, they just they have the best pews. They got gold and silver and everything is just laid out. And a lot of people go up in those churches for that very reason, just to bow down and worship that thing.
That's right.
So that's all I got. I just wanted to touch on that. It's going into the same thing, even with the churches.
That's right. Then guess what? It's a judgment for that, brothers and sisters, man. Let's get the judgment in the law. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 25.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 25. The graven image of their gods shall ye burn with fire.
Read that again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 25. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire.
The Most High God said, the graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire. I used to have a cross. It was all gold, all diamonds. But once I guess what came into this truth, I thought about it. I pondered upon that thing. I was like, dang, shall I just go and pawn it and get the money for it? I thought about these things. I was like, damn, they was just sell it to somebody else. So guess what I actually did? I have a fireplace, so I actually put it in there and burned that thing.
Oh, that was strong right there.
I put it in there, man. That thing was worth that thing was worth some money.
You could have went and got the money.
You could have went and got the money. But I was thinking about my people. Who else could have been snared and taken in that thing?
Right.
Because they would have just bought it up out of the pawn store. You know how people love going to the pawn shops, man. They would have just been taken and snared in that thing. So I actually just put it in there and just burned it. Made a little bit of knowledge. Just watch that thing burn up. Read that again from the top out.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 25. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire.
Shall ye what?
Burn with fire.
Shall we burn with fire, brothers and sisters? That it on that?
Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them.
Read that part again.
Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them.
Hey, I didn't desire that silver or that gold that was on it, man. Read on out.
Nor take it unto thee, lest that thou be snared therein.
Nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared. Least thou be snared therein, meaning it'll be a trap unto you. Read on.
For it is an abomination to the Lord thy God.
Read that part again.
For it is an abomination to the Lord thy God.
Read on.
Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house.
Neither shall it bring an abomination into thine house. So these idols, brothers and sisters may have, guess what? You got to get these things out of your house. This thing, guess what? This is even on a deeper level. For brothers and sisters, your house is also your body as well. Dealing with the thing spiritually, man. Shake some of these idolatry spirits that's in your spirit as well, man. Like we said, want to be seen of men. Sisters that, guess what? The Bible says sisters should be shame faces, not trying to seek attention. But as soon as you pull up on your scroll, on your timeline, boy, you got sisters taking 4, 5, 10 pictures a day, man. Come on, man. We got to come up out of these things. You got brothers flexing in the mirror and so forth. Come on, man. When Christ come back, boy, he gonna let all that air up out of that body, boy. Read on up. Start from the top again.
Verse 26. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it.
Lest you be a cursed thing like it. Read on up.
But thou shalt utterly detest it.
Read that again.
But thou shalt utterly detest it. And thou shalt utterly abhor it.
Thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it. Meaning, it's a despicable thing. You hate that thing with a passion.
Yeah.
Brothers should, man, because these things got our people in all different types, especially Christianity. That's one of the main strongholds that's upon our people. Islam too. But the number one is Christianity, man. Read on.
For it is a cursed thing.
For it is a cursed thing. And guess what? You dealing with those things, that makes you what? A cursed thing too. That's why the curses of Deuteronomy are sticking and cleaving to our people, man. You can't get rid of it. It's like that, like Gorilla Glue. That thing, hey, you can't get rid of it. Give me Psalms 135, verse 15.
The book of Psalms, chapter 135 and verse 15. The idols of the heathens are silver and gold.
Read that again.
The idols of the heathens are silver and gold.
The idols of the heathen are silver and gold. Read on up.
the work of men's hands.
It's the work of men's hands. Because you have to have an artificer or a sculptor to, guess what, be able to craft those things for our people to start worshiping them. Read on out.
They have mouths, but they speak not.
Read that again.
They have mouths, but they speak not.
The image of Sebo, it's got a mouth on that thing, but that thing ain't saying nothing to you. You get that thing all the time. Hey, that image of God spoke to me. What did it say, sis? What did it say? Just let us know. We want to hear it. Inquiring ears want to know. Oh, it spoke to me, brother. Mighty funny, guess what? The people that don't never keep God's commandments, they always hearing God. But us that striving to keep the commandments, we never hear God. Because we know we hear God through the scriptures, man. He talks to us through the scriptures. Dealing with a brother I know with Brother Vic, Brother Shalimar. Dealing with a brother up in this barbershop, man. No, God got to come down here to tell me that I got to wear fringes. Brother, look at here. If God gonna come down off that throne, like we always say, hold up, hey, Gabriel, hold up, Michael, let me go see about this brother and Brother Vic Church. Yeah. I'm gonna be right back. Man, if he come down off his throne, boy, you finna see a wonderful death. Because he finna, boy, do something we ain't never seen on the planet Earth, man. Most like God sends the prophets to teach and guide our people in instruction, man. He has people to do his will, brother. You got to come up out of there. Read that again from the top.
They have mouths, but they speak not.
They have mouths, but they speak not. Read on.
Eyes have they, but they see not.
Eyes, but they see not, man. Those things cannot teach our people. They cannot show us that we're the Israelites. While we're in this condition, how the hell can we get up out of these conditions? Read on.
They have ears, but they hear not. Neither is there any breath in their mouths.
Neither is there any breath. Read on.
They that make them are like unto them.
They that make them are like unto them. Read on.
So is everyone that trusted in them.
And so that is everyone that is trusted in them. Meaning, guess what? You ultimately gonna get that. You're gonna be nothing. To not see, to not hear. Dumb, deaf, and blind.
Yeah.
And we see that out here. We see a lot of our people spiritually are dumb, deaf, and blind, man. A lot of these scriptures are plain. We ask, sister, you love God? Yeah, I love God. But then we read 1 John 5:3, then she gets silent. And you find out that, guess what? You really don't love God. Because guess what? You're not doing what he commanded you to. Give me Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 9.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 44 and verse 9. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity.
All those things are vanity. Like you said, those things cannot profit our people anything, man. Read on.
And their delectable things shall not profit.
And those delectable things, it shall not profit. Those wearing those things won't get you into the kingdom, brothers and sisters. Read on.
And they are their own witnesses.
And they are their own witnesses. You and that damn idol. Because guess what? Everything that we do is being marked by an angel. Ain't got an angel on your side telling you. Or right there writing down everything. Well, I mean, shoot, brothers told him the precepts, and he chose to do otherwise. He chose to lean on his own understanding. Read on.
They see not.
They do what?
They see not.
And our people can't see that these causing our people to stumble, to go totally off, to guess what? Be in league with white supremacy. Read on.
Nor know.
Read on.
That they may be ashamed.
That they may be ashamed. Because guess what? The Most High God is going to play all that back to you in the day of judgment. You're going to be ashamed in that day, man. Dang, the brothers brought the scriptures out, and I just didn't want to do it. Got a rebellious spirit. Got a stiff-necked spirit, and I just didn't want to do it. Read on.
Who had formed a God?
Who had formed a God, brothers and sisters? Read on.
Or molten a graven image.
That
it is profitable for nothing.
That it is profitable for nothing. Read on up.
Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed.
Read on up.
And the workmen, they are of men.
It says, and the workman, the person that's wearing it and the person that created it. Read on.
Let them all be gathered together. Let them stand up. Yeah, they shall fear. And they shall be ashamed together.
They shall be ashamed together, man. Read on up.
The smith with the tongues, both work it in the coal and fashion it with hammers.
That's what he's doing. He's fashioning that thing with hammers. Read on.
And worketh it with the strength of his arm.
Read on.
Yeah, he is hungry, and his strength faileth.
And his what?
His strength faileth.
Read on.
He drinketh no water, and his faith.
Now you could take this twofold, but this on a physical level. He's taking all day to craft this thing, missing out on food, missing out on drink, just to guess what? Make this item so he can get that money. So he can guess what? Keep our people going off. All these things work one behind another for straight evil, man. Straight up evil. Read on up.
Verse 13. The carpenter stretcheth out his rule. He marketh it with a line. He fitted it with plan.
And he's marking it, setting the proper measurements. Read on.
And he marketh it out with the compass, and making it after the figure of a man.
And do what?
And making it out at the Salakia. And making it after the figure of a man.
Read on.
According to the beauty of a man. That it may remain in the house.
That it may remain in that house. You looking at that thing, idolizing it, bowing down unto it, constantly keeping yourself in sin, brothers and sisters, man. We got to come up out of these things, man. Give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 4.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 4. For neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us.
Read that again.
For neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us.
For neither did the mischievous inventions of man deceive us. It's talking about on a spiritual level, more so going into idols. Because guess what? Now that the Most High God have woken us up to the truth, opened our eyes, our spiritual eyes, now we see that these things constantly cause our people to go off. See that they got them worshiping white supremacy and so forth. You got some out?
Yeah, no.
Read on.
Nor an image spotted with diverse colors. The painters a fruitless labor.
It says the painter's fruitless labor, meaning he crafted that thing and that thing can't profit us nothing, man. It's just fruitless labor. He's doing it to get rich and to constantly make our people poor. Our people will go and buy a damn cross down there before they go and put food in their house, man. We see it all the time. He want to look and be cool. He want to look like a righteous man, but the Most High God weighs your actions, brother. Read on. Verse 5.
Verse 5. The sight whereof enticeth fools to lust after it.
Read that again.
The sight whereof enticeth fools to lust after it.
The sight enticeth people. Like you see Boozy with that damn big old Jesus piece, man. That thing glittered out, man. People see it. First thing young brothers see, hey, man, I got to give me a Jesus piece, man. That thing all covered in gold, all covered in jewels. Guess what? You'll have brothers actually killed for those things, man. We see it all the time. Go ahead.
And then with the heathens knowing how easily influenced our people are, because they know how sick we are and they take advantage of us in many ways. What they'll do, they'll just go get a whole lot of imitation pieces like that, throw some little rhinestones on them things, and then our brothers will be running around. You know, the value of the ones they'll go and kill each other over, they won't be nothing like the one Boosie wearing around his neck.
That's
but
right.
They'll still go after that thing and kill each other over.
They damn sure will. That's a good point. Read on.
Verse 6. But they make
Both. Go back to 5. You didn't finish 5.
Oh, thanks, Verse 5 again.
Verse 5. The sight whereof enticeth fools to lust after it. And so they desire the form of a dead image.
Read that part again.
And so they desire the form of a dead image.
Our people desire the form of a dead image instead of getting an image and desiring of a one true living God, man. We have the only living God on the planet Earth, but our people want to worship the image of a dead man. Read on.
That had no breath.
That had no breath. Read on.
Both they that make them, they that desire them, and they that worship them are lovers of evil things.
Or what?
Are lovers of evil things.
Brothers and sisters that's dealing in that type of spirit, the Bible calls you a lover of evil things, man. Read on.
And are worthy to have such things to trust upon.
And the Most High God said, you worthy to have things to trust upon if you're going to go and believe those things can bring you out of this condition that we're in. You worthy to have those things to lean on if, guess what? If he can't tell us how to correct our lives, how to get your families in order, how to get your own temples in order. Read on up.
For the potter tempereth soft earth, fashioning every vessel with much labor for our service.
It says, for the potter tempering soft earth, fashioning every vessel with much labor for our service. It's just basically going back into how the potter craft these things, how they make these things to get rich off of it and to put our people deeper into sin. Read on.
Of the same clay, he maketh both the vessels that serve for clean uses, and likewise also all such as serve to the contrary. But what is the use of either sort? The potter himself is the judge.
The potter himself is going into the Most High God. He's the ultimate judge, man. He's going to see that thing. He's seeing what brothers and sisters are doing. Jump down to verse 15 now.
Verse 15. For they counted all the idols of the heathen to be God.
Read that again.
For they counted all the idols of the heathen to be God.
So our people count these things to be gods. You see, it's constantly showing a lowercase g. Come on, man. Read on up.
Which neither have the use of eyes to see, nor the nose to draw breath, nor ears to hear, nor fingers of hands to handle. And as for their feet, they are slow to go.
Read on up.
For man made them.
For who?
For man made them.
For man made them. Read on.
And he that borrowed his own spirit fashioned them.
Man, that's a cut. Say, read that part again. I love read that part.
For man made them, and he that borrowed his own spirit fashioned them.
Negro, you didn't make your damn self. You borrowed your own spirit, man. What make you think you doing something, man? Most High God, boy, he ain't no joke, man, with this, how he breaks down the Bible and gives us the understanding, man. You borrowed your own spirit, now you think you doing something because you done crapped the idol, man. Come on, man. You are not a God on the planet, man. Read on.
But no man can make a God like unto himself.
Read on, huh?
For being mortal, he worketh a dead thing with wicked hands.
For being mortal, he worketh a dead thing with wicked hands. You crafting those things to have our people going off, and the image can't do nothing for our people, man. Read on, huh?
For he himself is better than the things which he worship.
Read that part again, huh?
For he himself is better than the things which he worship.
Brother, you better than that cross that you got on your dang on neck, man. Our people say that they hate white supremacy, but you steady wearing those things. You better than Sebo. Come on, man. Our people got to come up out of these things according to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Most like God put us above all nations, but you got the audacity to wear a right man on around your neck. Read on up.
Whereas he lived once, but they never.
It says, whereas he lived once, but they never. Meaning those what? Those idols, man.
God.
They ain't even living. Paintings, crosses. What can a cross do for you, man? Read on up.
Yea, they worship those beasts also that are most hateful.
And our people not only worship those, but they worship beasts. Like back during the time, Baal is going into basically like bull. Our people worship bulls, goats. You seen the golden calf that Aaron put up right after the Most High God saved them from captivity. These are those beasts. Read on.
For being compared together, some are worse than others.
Read that again.
For being compared together, some are worse than others.
Some idols are even worse than others. Like we know the main two idols that have our people in confusion: that cross and that cobblestone. That's what the Most High God constantly says and tells us these things throughout the scriptures. Read on.
Neither are they beautiful.
Read that again.
Neither are they beautiful.
Read on.
So much as to be desired in a respect of beasts. But they went without the praise of God and his blessing.
Those things go without the praise of God and his blessings. You say our brothers and sisters kissing with the Virgin Mary, kissing up to God. No, the Most High God is not blessing that thing at all, brothers and sisters. You got some up? No. Give me this last precept. Give me 1 John chapter 5, verse 21.
1 John.
Yeah. Brothers and sisters, you have to, it's high time to come up out of these idolatrous ways, man.
The book of 1 John, chapter 5. Is that what you want, 21?
Salakia,
Keep yourselves from idols.
yeah, 5 and 21. 1 John 5 and 21.
1 John 5
Yeah.
and 21.
The last scripture.
Okay. The book of 1 John, chapter 5 and verse 21. Little children, keep yourselves from idols.
From what?
From idols.
Read that again from the top.
The book of 1 John, chapter 5 and verse 21. Little children, keep yourselves from idols. Amen.
Amen. Brothers and sisters, come up out of these idolatrous ways, not only physically, but more important, spiritually, man. You know, a lot of times we touched on the spiritual side, the physical side, but that thing goes deep too on the spiritual level, man. We got to come up out of these ways. Guess what? Turn back to the one true living God, man. Because guess what? He's the God to be feared above all gods, man. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Get that straight.
Hey, what precept did I miss? 'Cause I don't know how long.
Get that,
Yeah, hit that up.